I want my students to take more action. You could provide somebody with the greatest tactics and information in the world, but if you don't get them to take action, then it's really just good wisdom, right? If wisdom alone made people successful, we'd have an epidemic of rich librarians around the world, right? They have access to knowledge, right? But you gotta get people to take action. And basically, in a nutshell, and I'd encourage everyone to try this. We all have our own versions of how to find our purpose and our true why. I know your why is kind of played out, but this simple exercise changed my life forever. He said, he got really close, and you should do this with a friend. He just basically said, why would you pay me 10 grand to help your clients get more success? And my answer was something like, I know I've been through this experience, and I know they can do it if they would just apply themselves more. He's like, well, why is it important they apply themselves more? I said, something like, I want to raise the standards in our industry, and I want other people in this space to step up or step out. All coming from my head. Great stuff, but it was coming from my head. I remember he asked me, why is that important? I said, I want to leave a legacy for my family. Coming from my head. Another question. And then he asked me 3 more times, so why is it important you have a legacy? You see what I mean? You asked the why with the previous question. I know you guys get it. You're quick learners. But I know for a fact when he got to the 5th time he asked me, because it went from my head to my heart. And he said, why was this last thing important? And it just blurted out. I said, I never want to go backwards. And at that moment, I thought about living in a trailer park, living in a bathroom, not having lunch money, all those things that were painful. I realized, holy shit, I don't want to go back there ever. My parents, all they did was worry about money. All they did was fight about money. I'm not going back there. No way. And all of a sudden, my physiology changed. Like you might feel it right now. Like I got into my heart. I'm like, oh my God, I feel this. And I thought that was it. But that was only question 5. It was 7 levels deep. And then he said to me, Dean, why is it important you don't go backwards? And for those of you who have kids, immediately I thought about my kids. And I started crying. Not like teeny tears, like ugly crying. And my staff was around. I was like embarrassed, but I'm like crying. And it just hit my heart. And I'm like, I want my kids to have choices. Not raise entitled kids. The last thing this world needs is 2 more entitled kids. But I want my kids to have choices if they want to start a business, if they want to do different things. I can lend them money. I just want them to have choices, and I can only think about them. And I'm like, I got it. So why is it important your kids have choices? And then my true why came out, and I literally was sobbing. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not going to try to recreate it. I was just sobbing. I'm like, I want to be in control of my life. That's what I said. And I never thought about that before. But what I realized at that moment is my parents were married 9 times. I moved 19 times by the time I was 19, always in a different house, different stepmom, stepbrother, stepsister, step-grandparents, be in one house, finally find friends, and they get moved and go over here. I was never in control as a kid. Live with grandma, live with dad, live with a stepmom, live with my mom, move back around, get evicted. I was never in control. All of a sudden, I realized I was fighting so hard because I don't want anybody to tell me how to live, how to dress, how to work. I mean, like I said, on the dress part, I have a nice shirt back there, but this is me, right? But I don't want anybody to tell me how to raise my children. When I can coach Little League, when I can coach softball, when I want to take a trip, when I want to leave, when I don't. Because I had so limited control as a child, that's my why. And when I found out that I don't want to go backwards, that I want my kids to have choices, and I want control of my life, this is where I want to kind of tie this together for you. If you just say, well, I want to make more money and I want financial freedom, that's not good enough. You'll turn around and come back here and go to where it's safe. But if you can dig into your heart and know why you want it from this emotional space on what you truly do, nothing gets in your way. You have a bad day, you go, it's a bad day, but I'm not going to go backwards. My kids are going to have choices, and I'm in control. Nobody's taking my control away from me. So if I got to dig under this obstacle, if I got to break through it, if I got to get bloody, if I got to climb over it, I'm getting through it because nobody is going to stop me from being in control of my life, being the dad I want to be, and going backwards. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm not trying to get overly passionate, but listen, that's how we do this. Everybody wants to get ahead. If we had 1 million people in this room and I said, who would like to make more money? Everybody would raise their hand, but it's only this group willing to actually do it. To cut checks, fly across the country, get the wisdom, get the knowledge, get the experience, pay to go faster. So if we're gonna do this, why not take it to the highest level possible? I'd ask yourself, why are you in this room? And figure it out. I did this every month for 5 years in Las Vegas with a crowd about this big. And I'd pull somebody out of the audience every week, every month. And it was unbelievable, the stories. I remember I got to tell you this one story. I'm probably going to go over by 5 minutes. Everybody deal with it? You guys okay with this? Unless you want to throw me off. I mean, all right. So this big dude comes up. He's got dreadlocks, good-looking guy, like this tall. And he comes up, and he's just like confident, cool. And he sits down, and I'm going through this, and he's like, dude, I've heard you're 7 levels deep on one of your podcasts or one of your, he's like, I got this. So I said, all right, cool. I'm like, oh man, if somebody did it prior, it's always better when someone never did it, right? Because it's like telling a joke and they know the punchline, you know what I mean? So I get him up here and I said, so why would you cut a big fat check? Everybody in the room paid at least 20 grand to be there. And I said, why would you cut a big check to come here? And he said, I already know my why. He said, because in the neighborhood I grew up in, there's no dads. The dads disappear. He's like, and I started a charity where I have dads. We go into the neighborhoods once a week and we show these boys guidance. I mean, just this amazing concept. And he already had one house and he already had like 10 dads dedicating their time. And he's like, that's it? And I said, that is amazing. So why is that important to you? And he's like, I don't need 7 levels. He goes, dude, I just told you. I'm like, that's awesome. And then he said something else, and then I squeezed something else and something else. All of a sudden, I get to like the 6th question, and I watch his whole body change. I watch his physiology change. He starts sobbing, and he gets small, and he's just like, and he said to me, when my mom died, a single mom raised me. When she died, I was a drug addict. He goes, she deserved better than that. She goes, she sacrificed her whole life for me. And he goes, I couldn't do it while she was alive, but I'm going to show her the man I am while she's in heaven. I got goosebumps. I don't know if you guys can see him. I'm glad he wanted to start a charity. I'm glad he was doing such incredible things. But on tough days, the charity's not pulling him through. On tough days when he goes, Mom, I'm not letting you down. You think he's not going to get out of bed? You think he's going to take the no when someone says no, or you think he's going to get that yes? Dig into your heart. Find where you want to go, point your ship in that direction, and don't let anybody get in your way.
What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.